And we're live. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Welcome to Records We Love, Part 2. I'm Gareth Davies, and I'm also joined by Percy Pineda, also known as Black City. Hey, Percy.
How you doing?
How's it going, man? Good to see you.
Hey, it's great to see you.
How's your week been, dude? What you been up to?
It's been a hectic week, man. It has been a hectic week, but
But
nonetheless, we are here.
uh-huh.
There's music to be reviewed.
Oh yes, lots and
There's,
lots of music. You want?
but you know what, man? It was a great week. It was a great week.
Uh-huh.
I honestly was the highlight of my week was getting the music ready.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of stuff that I got to listen to, and I was like, huh, what do I want to? I want to showcase this Friday on the
There's
episode.
so much, man. There's so much stuff to listen to. It's so hard. I mean, we could do this show literally for years,
Yeah.
going through and checking all the stuff. We got M4V7 who just joined us. He's saying, "Hey, I have a feeling that's Mike.
Oh,
I think it's Mike. You want to say hello to Mike?"
how you doing?
I think it is Mike. I'm not sure, but
We'll see.
if
If
it's
it's not, how you doing?
if it's you, Mike, how you doing? If it's not you, go with yourself. But hopefully it is you. Before we get going, do you got any drinks or anything going on? I'm gonna have a
You,
beer.
my friend,
I wanna.
today I am actually, I just was not prepared on that side from a drink perspective. I really wanted to bring some tequila to the show, and it did not happen. It did
Shit.
not
Well,
happen. So I got some water. I got some water today, as I
I'm gonna
usually do, staying
pour a
hydrated.
beer,
Yeah.
pour a nice beer here.
Let's get that audio.
Yeah, I should I'll top it up right now because like it never gets a full pint. So let me get another one to top that up a little bit.
Top me off.
Whoa, hey, where's my
We don't do
opener?
that here.
No, we don't do that here.
Don't do that here,
Don't tell me to top me off.
man. But what
That's
week it's
another show.
what a week it's been for. One thing I noticed, and I actually brought quite a bit to the table with regards to there are albums having their 20-year, 25-year, as always, right?
Oh
Every
yeah.
year that's always happening, but it's just for me, it's like 20 years ago, eight,
Okay.
basically
Before
18.
you say a word,
Yeah,
we gotta. I want you to take a look at that. Look at that. Look how delicious that looks. Look at this.
that was
Look
nice.
at that. Look at that. It looks amazing. Oh,
Yeah,
oh,
look at
look
that.
at that. All right,
Look at
let's do a virtual cheers. Cheers, mate.
There you go.
Oh man, that hit the spot.
I gotta, I gotta make sure,
Delicioso.
gotta make sure we don't got no sponsors here.
I know. Yes. This week's episode brought to you by 805, the
Right?
delicious mouth liquor that just goes down your throat like silk. That came out wrong. Huh? Anyway,
It did. It
um,
did. Hey, I
so
gotta ask you,
what?
from a music standpoint,
Uh
did
huh.
you see what Rick Astley did this week?
Oh, with Everlong, I
Yeah.
did. Yeah, that was a little. I was taken a little back by that.
Well, why?
Well,
Please.
it could have gone either way. Well, I know it was obviously pre-recorded, right? So had he done
Right,
it
right.
and it would have been shit, he wouldn't have published it,
Of course.
right? So he did it. And what you got in your arm there? Have you got like a new tattoo or something?
No,
Oh, it's the light
that's
reflecting.
a lie. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it could have gone the other way. He could have done that Everlong, and it could have been a total shit show. But it was actually pretty good. It was surprisingly good. What did you think of it?
Yeah, I was also surprised as well. I guess I immediately thought I was gonna get Rick rolled, and I
Yeah.
thought everybody was gonna get Rick rolled, and
Exactly.
it was gonna be never gonna give you
Uh
up.
huh.
I thought I was hoping,
Everlong.
yeah. But hey, man, he
I've
he did all
waited
right.
here for you
Yeah,
ever. long,
Yeah, like it was
long, give you up, ever long.
Hey Rick, sit down,
Hey,
please. But yeah, no, I enjoyed it.
yeah.
Usually I don't enjoy stuff like that. I kind of
You know
dismiss
the
it. I'm
thing,
like,
the
whatever.
biggest
But
thing though, dude. Who knew? Who knew
yeah,
that he could play the guitar?
no idea.
I had no
No
idea.
idea. Thought he just had this smooth, silky
I just thought
voice.
he had the voice. I
Yeah,
just thought
yeah,
he had the pipes. You know, he could
yeah,
do the
yeah.
voice with his pipes. But
That's
no,
it.
he had the he could play the guitar too. Who knew? Crazy.
Awesome,
All
man.
right. Speaking of music and playing guitars,
Hmm.
you want to go first? What's your first album
You want to
to
go with speaking of music and
yeah
playing guitars, let's do
yeah
that.
what you got?
This week for my first choice, I am bringing up the what I call a jazz metal.
Jazz metal. Interesting.
This is Animals as Leaders.
Animals as lead. Pull it back so I can see that. Animals as leaders. I am completely unfamiliar. Tell us all about it.
So, Animals as Leaders is a trio, no vocals,
Uh huh.
all instrumental, extremely heavy guitars.
Uh huh.
It's two guitarists and a drummer. That's it. And it's extremely complex music, some would say. I've actually heard it described as a musician's music,
Okay. Uh huh.
music for musicians, right? It's very technical. Just a lot of very fast, very heavy power chords. A
Would
lot
it be
of,
considered like heavy metal or no?
I guess it
Or
could be,
hard rock?
yeah, like heavy. It would be considered on the heavy metal side,
Okay.
definitely. Yeah,
Because when I'm looking at the cover, that it doesn't give off the heavy metal vibe. And I
yeah,
remember last week we were talking about buying records based on the cover.
yeah,
I think if you bought that on a just looking at the cover,
yeah,
um, taking it home and playing it, you'd be a little shocked,
yeah.
right?
Oh yeah.
Would that be true?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. I would say for all the listeners out there who want to check out this album or check out a song by them, Cafo is a CAFO is a single from this album. They're old actually. God, I want to say they've been around for
For a while.
10 years, maybe a little
Uh
bit
huh.
longer than that. Not so they're not old, but yeah, they've been around for some time. I was maybe even 15 years. But yeah, man, it's one of those bands where you want to just hear something extremely heavy. You don't want to hear any screaming or any heavy vocals or growling behind it. You just want that
It's just
very fast metal, that
it's pure instrumental. There's
pure instrumental.
no vocals or anything.
No, but
Interesting.
it takes you through a journey, man.
Uh huh.
You're sitting there literally traveling through this world that they're building around with just three guitars, or I'm sorry, two guitars and a drummer,
Uh
three
huh.
people, three piece. You usually hear the guitarist and a bassist and right, or maybe two guitarists and a bassist and
Mm-hmm.
then a
Mm-hmm.
drummer. But yeah, man, it's a extremely psychedelic album, I would say as well. It's got a very heavy psychedelic feel to it.
I will have to check that out. That sounds like it might be right up my alley.
You will enjoy it, man.
All right, let me show you what I got. My first one. This is an oldie but a goodie.
Okay.
This is an album. I don't like. I play a lot. I got a lot of records from when I was a kid
Right.
that I still have, and this is one of them.
That's
This
awesome.
is Ennio Morricone.
Ennio
Ennio
Morricone.
Morricone. This is
That is awesome.
original soundtracks, Fistful of Dollars, and a few dollars more.
Yep.
And I bought this out of me pocket money when I was a little nipper.
Oh,
What had happened
a wee
was
lad.
what got me to buy this was during summer vacation when I was a kid.
Uh-huh.
On the weekends on TV in the UK, they would show the spaghetti westerns. You know
Yeah.
those movies that were made in Spain and Italy.
Yeah. And Italy. Yes.
Yeah,
huge in Italy in
and
the 60s,
and
70s.
they'd bring in an American movie star
Yeah.
to be the lead, and
Yeah.
then film it over there. So they'd save a ton of money. Then they'd release it internationally and dub the voices over later, right?
Yeah.
But they're great
Yeah.
movies like Fistful of Dollars, A Few Dollars More, Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. And watching these movies as a kid, they left a huge impression on me, right?
Right.
Especially the soundtracks, because the soundtracks of these movies were so strange.
Phenomenal.
So strange. It was nothing like when you watch a normal western. The soundtracks of this, it was like bizarre sounds and chanting and really
Yeah.
weird bass lines and stuff. And it was intriguing to me because it was such a strange sound. And I remember seeing this in a record store when I was a kid, and it was fairly cheap. And I saved up my money and I went and bought it. And I played the crap out of it, and I still have it to this day. And this is and it got me into Ennio Morricone, who's done some incredible soundtracks throughout the years.
That is
Some
awesome.
incredible, and there you go. Yeah, this is it. This is the original.
And I don't know if a lot
No,
of
no
people know
barcode.
that,
No
but
barcode.
yeah, oh, that's the best.
No
That's the
barcode.
best.
Right here. There you
Any
go.
anytime that Ennio comes up, it's usually in a Quentin Tarantino movie, right?
Well,
He
yeah.
is constantly used to score his films, right? He did
Uh huh.
Inglorious
Uh
Bastards. He's
huh.
done The Hateful Eight. All great movies with phenomenal soundtracks, and he's tapping into this guy from this era who just has a specific sound,
Yeah.
and
Tarantino was a big fan of those movies too. You can see
right,
the style that
a
he of
film,
his. It's very similar to
right.
those movies, the old spaghetti westerns. All right. Well,
That what was that new movie that came out? That was a kind of
once
a
upon a time in Hollywood.
yes, that's kind of a
Have we talked about that? What did you think of that movie?
I enjoyed it.
I
I
fucking
loved
loved it.
I
I
loved it. Yeah, yeah.
absolutely
Like
loved it.
I thought it was great, man. The dialogue,
Uh huh.
but that's a biased opinion because I'm a very big Quentin Tarantino
Uh
fan, right?
huh.
I like his style of writing. I pretty much anything he does, I really like from the music that he chooses, to the people he uses to score his films, the type of film that he
Mm-hmm.
uses. He's a craftsman of his of his craft,
Yeah.
like he knows what the hell he's doing. I always enjoy it. I always enjoy his
I
movies.
totally loved it. I've seen it twice. I saw it once in the movies, when it came out, and then once on Blu-ray.
Yeah, that's
Um,
cute. Two times, that's it. That's cute.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Two. Yeah. What do you think? One of these mental cases? You see it 50 times? Get out of here.
No,
Um,
but five at least.
Five. But I thoroughly,
I know.
thoroughly, thoroughly enjoyed it. It's a very, very,
Yeah,
very good film. It
great
was a
film.
shame at the end though when they killed the bad guys. I was hoping they were going to get away with it. Oh wait, that's real life. That's what
Oh,
happened in real life.
oh, hey,
And once upon a
a
time,
little soon. Nope.
no, too soon, too soon. All right, what you got next?
For the next one, I want to say happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to Run the Jewels number one. Happy seventh birthday to you guys in honor of releasing Run the Jewels number four. For all you listeners out there, if you have not heard of Run the Jewels
Mm-hmm.
by now, I don't
Go
know what the
look.
fuck you're doing.
Go to their
But
website. You can get actually if you go to their website,
you can get
you
all
you
of their
can get
albums
their
for
you
free.
can get their. Is it all of them? I thought it was just the new one.
They're in, I thought that you could download all of them. They've always had them available to download. I'm pretty sure if you go out there and hit Google and look for Run the Jewels number one download, you can find it to down. They've always given away their albums for free.
Wow.
So yeah, go out there and download that. It's seriously
So
a great
tell us a
album.
little bit about like the story behind that record. What's the deal?
Man, what sparked Run the Jewels? This is the first album of you know um the hip hop heavyweight dynamic duo of LP and Killer Mike. LP hails from Brooklyn, New York, and Killer Mike from Atlanta, Georgia. Both respectively have their titles and are very well known in the hip hop community. LP mainly for his production. Back in the '90s, he was doing things with Company Flow and started a label called Definitive Jux in the early 2000s.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of just underground hip hop. It was that very big early 2000 movement of the hip hop resurgence, and LP was doing a lot. in that space. Um, many years later, after the label folded for whatever reason, and LP kept on releasing albums. Killer Mike, again, he had his own thing going on in Atlanta, Georgia, doing the dirty South
Uh-huh.
market, if you will, and at one point, Killer Mike tapped LP and said, "Hey, I want you to produce an album for me, make this happen." Of course, both of them being the heavy tree smokers that they are, and very much into speaking truths on all
Yeah,
levels.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
After that first album that LP produced for Killer Mike, they decided on doing a an album together as Run the Jewels, and man, this is what was born.
That's
So
awesome.
7 years later, here we are. We have four of them.
Wait, how many albums? There's been four albums so
Four
far.
albums. Yeah.
What did you think of the Rick and Morty video?
Hilarious. Hilarious. They're fans. They're fans. Both of each other. You Run the Jewels of Rick and Morty. Rick and Morty
But
of
didn't
him.
it just totally work?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Totally worked.
And for all you
Totally worked.
listeners out there, go to Daylight Curfew, daylightcurfew.com. They aren't a sponsor, but maybe they should be. Daylightcurfew.com has a lot of great stuff. They release a lot of Rick and Morty clothing and hoodies and very limited edition runs, like 100 hoodies that they'll release with Rick and Morty. Very, very nice,
Uh
And
huh.
so I know Run the Jewels puts a lot of stuff out there as well, and it's always a fan favorite.
Good stuff, man. Yeah, Rick and Morty. I've only just recently started watching them in like the last year. I've watched the first season only.
Hilarious.
Every
That's the best season to me.
my kids have devoured it. They've got watched everything. Like immediately. But I'm still chugging along. You know the problem though, man. There's just too much good stuff to watch. There's too
There
many
is.
good shows.
There is.
It's people. Yeah, you got to watch this. It's this. Oh, you're missing out. And I don't have the time.
And you know what
You
else is a
know.
problem? There's
Well,
too much shit out there too that you
yeah.
have to
Uh huh.
filter through.
Yeah, you got to
You know?
go through the weeds. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. That also takes up time. There's
We
too much
we
content
went
out
through
there.
like a golden age of TV about 2 or 3 years ago, where like not all shows obviously, but 90% of the new shows were like good.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
now I think we've passed that, and now we're rapidly getting into most
The,
shows are shit.
the oversaturation, right? Is
Unfortunately.
that these platforms? So you have all of these different platforms that have sprung up, and it's a similar thing with music,
Uh huh.
right? You have the same similar thing with music. One thing that I enjoy about sources like Bandcamp is that you're really able to tap
Oh
into
yeah.
the artists. And tonight I have an after your number two, after you go number two, I'm gonna go ahead and bring up a Bandcamp artist
Dude,
that I
had I
found.
known, I could have brought up some Bandcamp artists too, because
We'll
I've
do that
purchased
next week.
I've purchased some vinyl from that website also, and
It's
been
great.
and and loved it.
Yeah,
Absolutely
it's
loved it. Hmm.
supporting the artist, man.
Yeah,
Supporting
totally.
these artists and I would much rather do it through a medium like Bandcamp. And one thing that I really like about Bandcamp recently, in the wake of this whole pandemic, is that they've been waiving a lot of their
Oh
fees
yeah,
to
yeah.
artists, and
Every
that's
was
really
they
really cool. That's awesome.
every Friday they do that. I think
Oh, is that what it is?
every Friday they waive their fees. So
That's
whatever
awesome.
you buy on a Friday, it's going straight to the artist. Yeah,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
is definitely a good thing.
yeah.
So much good music on that site.
There
So
is.
much, dude.
There is, and that's
So
that's
much good
the
music.
that's the one thing about that site is that you have a lot of really good music
Uh
and
huh.
not that much crap. I don't know how they do it.
Yeah, yeah.
I haven't had to filter through a lot of crap. It's been really good
Well, we
stuff
we
that I've.
talked about this before about like good rock bands or punk bands or like
Yeah,
that you're like, oh, they don't exist. And no, they do exist. They
they
are out there.
do.
There's some great bands
Yeah,
but nobody plays them on the radio anymore.
right,
So
right.
your only way to consume these people or to find the music is through places like SoundCloud, Bandcamp,
Yeah.
and dig around and find them that way, because the radio's not going to play them.
No, no, of course not. They're playing some of this other crap.
Yeah,
We'll
exactly.
leave. We'll leave nameless.
Well, they're just playing like commercialized, pre-programmed nonsense. They're not
Yeah.
speaking from the soul. They're speaking from the wallet.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
So all
So
right.
what's your no? So what's your second one?
Okay. Number two for you.
Lay it on me.
Here we go. Now, this is another soundtrack, by the way. But this
Uh huh.
this is a surprising one. I was really surprised by how great this soundtrack is on vinyl.
All right. Oh yeah, for sure.
John
That
Wick.
is yeah.
Yes.
That is great.
John
There is
Wick.
there is a
Yes.
really good I don't know if it's I guess it's an electronic
And look
song on there.
look at the vinyl.
Oh, nice.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
And I
Tyler
bought
Bates, right?
because I yeah I bought it obviously because I loved the movie. I thought the movie was I thoroughly enjoyed the movie.
It's
And I thought, oh,
amazing.
let me buy the soundtrack and check it out, dude. Soundtrack is phenomenal. It's superb.
Nice.
Really, really
Nice.
good. It's one of those albums that you can just put on, just listen from beginning to end.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
surprisingly good.
Yeah.
Really, really good stuff.
That's
Really good.
awesome.
So there's
Love it.
John Wick. Hello, John Wick. Oh
What a
yes.
great movie. What a great movie. Even the one, two, and three have all been phenomenal.
Yeah, and then
I don't care what anybody says.
four is next year, right? John Wick
Yeah.
number four.
Yeah.
Four.
Quattro.
Okay. Yeah. What you got? What's next?
Next one. I'm gonna hit you right now. Again, like
All
I
right.
said, this is a Bandcamp artist.
Uh-huh.
One thing that I like to do with Bandcamp, specifically for classical music.
Ooh.
I think I spoke a little bit. I spoke on it last week a little bit. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying?
Mm-hmm.
And what I wanted to showcase is that yeah, what we've been talking about that Bandcamp is a great resource for
Absolutely.
great music, and it is not just hip hop. You're not only finding pop, you're not only finding rock and roll. You're finding you can find classical, you can
Mm-hmm.
find different types of reggae, world music, Afro, Latin, jazz. I mean, you name it, it's out there, and that's a great place
Well,
to go.
it's
And one of the
every genre basically, right? Every
every
genre
genre
is
you could
on
think of.
Bandcamp. Yeah.
And so this artist that I found, he is from Melbourne, Australia, and his name is Luke Howard.
Leak
And
had. All right. Nice.
yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
And it's again classical. I guess it's
And
considered
when you say
like
classical,
it's considered neoclassical.
but
So it has
it's like orchestration, right? Full.
no, it's all piano. It's all piano
Ah.
with soundscapes in the background.
Oh
So
wow.
so it can sound a lot of it could be like an undertone of a synthesizer,
Mm-hmm.
right? Just kind of just you hear it kind of underneath the music, and it's the person, this gentleman, Luke Howard, playing the piano. And man, it's just very peaceful. I enjoy
You
listening to it with the
put it
family.
when you're working or something. You just got it on in the background while you do
Actually
stuff.
working
Yeah.
or when we're having breakfast with the
Oh right.
family, like
Okay.
on Saturday or Sunday morning.
Mm-hmm.
I don't always feel like listening to Nine Inch Nails, right? In the morning, right? Sometimes you got to switch it up a little bit. I mean, don't get me wrong. You might hear only by Nine Inch Nails or cooking up some grits, but
Hey,
occasionally.
well, hey, eat your cocoa puffs. I wanna like
You
it.
an animal, exactly, exactly, man. So, occasionally I like to switch it up, and
Okay,
I've always been a music connoisseur. So yeah, definitely check him out. Support,
that's
this guy's
awesome.
named Luke Howard. Really good neoclassical musician.
How did you you just randomly found him on
Yeah,
Bandcamp and
yeah,
listen to some of his
yeah.
tracks and away you went.
That that was it, man. I my method of filtering through Bandcamp, so people kind of understand how it works for those who may not have ever searched on there. I go and filter out all of the records, so I
Mm-hmm.
make sure that we are that I'm looking at just only the records. So
Right.
um, then I'll go to to the music that I want. Again, this is more. They have a section called neoclassical. It's pretty interesting. There's a lot of really good Japanese artists that put out music neoclassical,
Uh
and
huh.
it's man. I mean, they will do. They have violins, or they'll have guitarists, and it's phenomenal music. Let me hear it. Don't hold back.
Let's move on.
Enough said. Enough said. Let's go.
Yeah.
What's your number three?
All right. Let me see.
We're
Uh,
not trying to we're not trying to kill this on the second
no, we're
episode.
not. We're not. We wait till episode 4 or 5 before we go to those places.
Yeah.
Okay. Next one I got. This is a good one here because I'm a big fan of the Police and Sting. I have been since I was a kid.
Oh,
And
okay.
I have this right here. This is
It,
Sting, the Last Ship. This
yeah.
is his. He did a musical, or like a full stage musical, and this is the album. And I actually got him to sign it right here.
That
Right here,
is
right here.
awesome.
So I got his autograph on the record. This is a double album. Um, so it's a little different from it's not rock or reggae or anything. It's purely if you think of like a Broadway musical.
Uh-huh.
Where you have someone coming up saying, "It's a beautiful day today. What do you think?" "Well, I think it's so beautiful." And then they start singing.
Yeah.
It's like that kind of thing.
Oh,
But it's
okay.
really good. It's semi
Interesting.
autobiographical. He's originally from a northern town in the UK called Newcastle,
Hmm.
which used to be the number one huge ship supplier of the world.
Oh, I thought you were gonna
Uh,
say
about
beer
a
manufacturer in the world, but
for
okay.
ships, for big, huge, massive,
Interesting.
ships. And in the 60s and the 70s, they lost all that business, and all the shipyards and the factories that was the biggest employment for the town of Newcastle. Everyone worked at the shipyard.
All right.
They all shut down. There was mass unemployment. It was terrible.
Oh man.
And he was growing up during that era, so I guess it made a mark on him. And as he grew up and he became famous, he wrote a musical about it called "The Last Ship."
Fascinating.
And this is the album, and it really is a good album. Actually, I was listening to it today, this afternoon. I had it
Yeah.
on.
Nice.
Very good stuff. So there you go.
Interesting. I never knew he did anything like that.
Sting, "The Last Ship," with his autograph in the corner.
That's awesome.
All right, what you got next?
All right, man. My next one is another album that had a 20-year birthday this past week.
Ooh,
Um, and this one just really quick. Once when I heard it, I was like, wow. I remember the album coming out. That summer, I actually took a trip to Europe.
oh, your light went out. What happened?
I don't know. Something's wrong here. Hey, this ain't parrot talk. Get out of here. So,
Careful, the spirits are around you.
hey, I don't know what's happening.
Okay.
Um, so this album, man, very impactful in my life. When I'm a huge fan of this band, and they released this album and again in 2000. Um, Deftones,
Deftones, White Pony.
White Pony,
20 years.
20 years, sir.
Holy shit.
Right? Do you remember where you were when this?
Where does the time go, man?
Because I'm pretty sure when this released, you were thinking, "Wow, like all this new music, right?
Right,
All
right.
it's this is the new millennium.
Mm-hmm.
It's like we're in the future. We're
Yeah.
here,
Where's my flying car?
right?" And then
Hello?
give me 1 second. Give me 1 second while I kill myself really
we
quick.
appear to be having some technical difficulties, ladies and gentlemen. Just bear with us while Percy flips the light switch on. Yeah, there you go. Dude, if you flip it really fast, maybe we can induce an epileptic seizure in someone watching.
Oh
No?
no,
What's going on? Is it on a timer or something?
no! It's a damaged switch, unfortunately,
Yeah.
and it's
Go ahead and get your fingers nice and wet and go ahead and touch it.
yes. What is that? Two in the pink, one in the stink. One more time. think that's a accurate
There
saying,
you go.
right?
You got it.
But yeah, I apologize for those technical difficulties. Hopefully, we won't have to deal with that ever again. Now back to our regularly scheduled program. The Deftones, White Pony, man,
Mm-hmm.
great album. It was the last album produced by Terry Date. If
Terry,
nobody is familiar with Terry Date, please open up a browser, preferably Chrome. Check it out.
check it out, yo. The Funk
You
Soul
know,
Brother.
love the album. It was a big change from their other two previous albums that they released. Adrenaline, that was their first one. Second album
Now that
being
that must have been like the record you got there must be like a reprint or something because in the early 2000s buying records was not a thing.
You're right. As a matter of fact, this is a reprint. I actually do have though their first album on a vinyl picture disc that was sold at Hot Topic
All right.
in the late 90s. They were into repressing some of their albums that they had, and they had a couple of them, and I was fortunate enough to buy a couple of them back then. This one though, you are accurate. It is not an original. This was actually purchased, yeah, a few years ago.
Yeah, that was the if from like 98 to maybe 2006 or 2007. That was the golden age of being a record collector because you could go to like swap meets and
Hmm.
places and buy rare collectible albums in great condition
Oh yeah.
for like pennies on the dollar.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Oh yeah.
those
Definitely.
those days are gone.
I was pick. I mean, some of the records that I have that I would purchase in that era in that time, they're singles and they're worth
Uh huh.
some money. I mean, and they're just singles. A
Yeah.
track, maybe a B-side and an instrumental.
Mm-hmm.
And people are wanting $60, $70 for a single. I'm like,
Next
it's
week,
insane.
next week, I'll pull out a very
Hey,
I'll pull out a single that's very very rare,
okay.
extremely rare, and
Oh,
I'll show you next week.
so next week should be the singles.
Well, you can just I mean you can do whatever. It's not
Uh,
a
no, I have.
I'll do a single album combo by the same artist. And both are rare, but the single is super rare, and I'll do that one next week. Then I'll
Nice.
pull that
I'd
out.
be interested to see who that is.
Yes, I think you will like it. I think so. All right,
I think I think we do, mate.
yeah.
Let's see what you got.
All right, let me do my my next one here.
Hmm.
This this one fell through the same issue that you just said right now, where when this album came out, they weren't making records.
Hmm.
This is a vinyl reprint of the album, and for some reason it's a lot better on vinyl. It's not only does it sound a lot better, it just feels the experience of listening to it is a lot better. But that's not to say it's not a great album because it is. It's
Oh yes.
Oasis. What's the story? Morning Glory, the classic album from was it 90, 94, 95, something like that.
Hey,
I don't see the date on the back.
I walked down that street.
Did you really?
Yes, I did.
Hey, wait, that's you.
Hey, that's me right there. One on the right. Yeah, I'm white now.
Yeah, you're white. You're white now. Yeah.
I don't
It's
know if that's appropriate or not. Please stay. Don't leave
no,
us.
that's fine. Yeah, you're white now. This is one of my all-time favorite records. This superb album. Love it to death.
It is.
But
It
you know
is.
when I first bought this record in the 90s, it was on CD.
CD. Yeah.
You know there was no record to speak of. But they
You-
released this like maybe 3 or 4 years ago on vinyl. It's a double album, 2 records.
Mhm.
And they changed the track listings. They removed some songs and added some songs, and
Really?
changed the order of the tracks. I mean, all the main ones, like Wonderwall,
Yeah.
Champagne Supernova, all those are still on there. But they
Right.
changed a few of the lesser tracks. They put Bonehead's Bank Holiday on here. which was not on the CD version, but
That is crazy. That album right
truly
there.
truly great album.
That album right
It's
there
a
takes.
landmark album, really, when you think
It
about
is.
it. It really
It
is.
is. That
Hmm.
cover.
Yeah,
The cover, like you, that just screams 90s right there.
totally. Yeah,
If
yeah.
you don't know that cover, then yeah, you were
Yeah,
not part of the
this
90s. You were
this
not.
this just this image was
Yes.
everywhere in the '90s, and there
Yes.
was T-shirts of this. You could get a
Yeah.
T-shirt with this on it. I remember
Yeah.
seeing a T-shirt
Yeah.
with this logo on it. You know?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
that album
classic.
takes me back, man.
Yeah,
I
awesome.
remember being in high school and being in band, and that album having come out, and I was in band as a
Mm-hmm.
band geek does, and we would of course go to these different tournaments, and that was one of the albums that was always in my Discman, you know. Um, hey, I had the 10-second
In my
non-skip
Discman.
Discman. Try to make sure that
Speaking of '90s technology, I don't know if you
yeah.
can see something about here.
I do.
You
I do see
you
your C.
recognize
Oh
some
yeah.
stuff here?
Yeah, I actually I think I saw you posted something
This is very
on Twitter about it.
this is very very '90s. This is
Do you have a player? You have
I
something to play it on?
I have several. There it is,
I
right
have
there.
I have some of my first productions on on some of those discs still.
Well, if you want them converted to Wave or whatever, give me the discs and I'll make
We're
files out of
gonna
them for you.
we're gonna have to make
Because
that
I
happen.
have
These are my first beats that I made. I
yeah,
bought this Sony disc,
many
the
discs.
Sony recorder
So
with one of
I
the,
got one
you
right
know,
here.
it's awesome.
I got one right here. And I got one.
What are those things
One
called
over here.
again? Not scan discs. What are they called?
Mini discs.
Mini discs.
So what happened was I have a big box of mini discs that I had in the '90s,
Mm-hmm.
and I found them like maybe a month ago.
What do they have on there? Music?
Yeah, I
Just
found
random music?
like a month ago. I found them, and I found all these like with wait, hold on, let me pull it. All these tracks and all these old
Oh,
albums and stuff on.
crazy.
And it's dude, it's so awesome going back and the I mean the sound quality. I mean, don't get me wrong. This is completely obsolete technology.
Yeah, for sure.
It's totally obsolete,
Yeah.
but it
Yeah.
still sounds fucking great. It sounds awesome,
That's awesome.
you
That's
know.
interesting.
And
That's
to
interesting.
have something physical in your hand,
Yeah.
a physical album, you know. And something else you guys might remember this is remember in the Matrix, the first Matrix movie.
Oh yeah.
Remember when the guy comes, he knocks on Neo's door, and he's trying to buy some drugs or something,
Yeah, and he gives them that.
And Neo opens the book,
Yep.
and he
And
goes,
he hands them that
and
little disc.
he hands him one of these. He goes,
Yeah.
"Here you go, follow the white rabbit."
Yep.
He hands him a mini disc.
Yeah.
Good
That's
stuff.
so awesome. That's so
All
awesome.
right, what you got next? What's short turn next? Right, yeah. All right,
Yeah,
go.
yeah. This is my last one. This is where
What?
we've reached. Yeah, we've reached number
What?
5 already, man.
No.
We went through it that quick this time. Yeah, last week we took it took a little bit longer, but no, we're making good time on this one. So this is very similar to the album that you just showed us or shared with us, Oasis, right? It's an album that was released in the 90s, and it wasn't pressed on vinyl until many years later,
Uh-huh.
right? This one's similar in that sense. This was released in that era of the 2000s where it was just basically CDs everywhere, right? And of course, the internet and downloading
Right.
songs off the internet or the musicians putting their stuff on the internet
Mm-hmm.
available like that. So this album came out about 2004, yeah, about 7 years ago now, as well, and it's the Mars Volta.
Oh wow! Look at her.
Yeah, and so this is an original. Hasn't It's not a repress. They didn't repress
When
these.
did that come out? What's the year on that?
2014.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, the album came out in 2006, but the record was released in
The-
2014.
Got it. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and for those who are not familiar, the Mars Volta is comprised of some musicians from At the Drive-In,
Mhm.
specifically specifically the lead singer and the guitarist, right? Omar Rodriguez Lopez and Cedric Bixler Savala, who is the singer. But on this album was actually produced by Rick Rubin.
Okay.
It was, to me, it it stands alone. It doesn't have a
Is it a
genre.
double? Is that a double record?
Yeah.
Two albums,
Yep.
two
Yep. Yep.
LPs.
Yeah. Two
Uh
LPs.
huh. Dude,
Yeah.
I
It's
love the packaging on that. The way it's like that glossy look. It's so
yeah.
awesome.
It's great,
It's
man. It's great.
beautiful. Look at that. I love that.
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome album. And on this album, rest in peace, Ike Owens. He was their keyboardist. So after he passed away, they stopped doing a lot more
Hmm.
stuff. But Flea was on this album.
Oh
Is
no
the
shit.
bassist.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Rick Rubin called Flea up and said, "Hey,
Yeah.
come over to the studio. I have this band here. You might want to
When
take a
when he
listen."
when he called him up, did he go Mockafarai?
Yeah, needles.
No
Yeah,
needles, needles,
needles.
no needles, needles.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Mockafarai, you
Oh,
are
that is the best.
fired.
Oh man, Flea's been in so many landmark movies.
Dude, the other week my niece came over with her new boyfriend.
What?
And
Karis has a
no,
boyfriend?
my niece,
Oh,
not not
oh,
not,
sorry. What
not
was
my
I?
daughter.
I'm sorry. Sorry for a
Hey,
second.
hey, calm down. And
Apologies.
he came over, and I was talking to him, and he says, and I don't know how this conversation came up, but he said, yeah, he said I was born in 1985, and I said, oh, is Back to the Future your favorite movie? And he looks at me and he goes, no.
Yeah, man. I know. It's sad.
Like total like no. Like
It's
what are you
sad.
talking about? No. Why would that be my favorite movie? Yeah, I'm like, dude, it's one of the greatest movies ever made. He's like, okay. I was like, clueless, no idea. You know what I mean?
Wow. Wow.
Very strange.
It's horrible.
Yeah, I know. All right.
That does it for me, sir. That's my fifth
Okay.
one.
Luckily, I got a couple extras here, so we can talk some more. Okay. This next one is a very special album for me. This is an album I only play. I mean, it's a great record, but I only play it once a year.
Oh,
I don't.
for what? May I ask?
I play it on the anniversary of Lord Satan's birth into our reality. No, I only play it. Every New Year's Eve I play it, which
Okay.
sounds a little maybe a little demented, but I've been doing it for years, and it's become like I guess a tradition. I've been doing it for like at least the last 10 years,
Okay.
playing this record, and it's a great and you don't have to listen. You can listen to it anytime. It's not like it's not a seasonal album, right?
Okay.
But for me, I just play it on that date. Great album, and it is Tom Waits' "Small Change."
Man, that album cover is so iconic.
Uh-huh. And this is I mean, I like all of his stuff, but I think for
Mhm.
me this is my favorite Tom Waits album. This is every track on it is superb.
Yeah.
It's one of those records you just put on and just let it play. It's just phenomenal. And it's very moving. I find this record very moving. It's very emotional to listen to this album, but it's just great. And it's
If you
yeah, go
if
ahead.
you would say if you would say to somebody who hasn't heard that song or that album, what song should they listen to off that album?
You shouldn't listen to a song on it. You should listen to the album.
Right. No, but I'm talking about just like what's a song that you like
Oh,
that just grabs you. I
I
know you
love
like the whole album,
yeah.
but there's always one song that just
There's
like
one
stands out.
Step Right Up.
Step right up. Okay.
That's really good. But every track on it is awesome. It's one of
Yeah.
you just hit play,
Yeah.
and or put the needle on and just let it play. It's just if you've not listened to this album,
Never heard it. I know that album cover. I've never heard.
Fire up Apple Music or Spotify or whatever you got. Look for Tom Waits' "Small Change" and put some headphones on and just don't do anything. Don't be like fucking, oh, I'm gonna, clean out my closet, listen to this, or rearrange my fucking sock drawer or some shit.
Mm-hmm.
Just sit there with some headphones, maybe dim the lights, have a drink, smoke a little something, whatever, and just let the music like wash over you. Just absorb the album.
Okay.
And it's life changing. Couple of interesting points. It's weird that I'm choosing this for this record. This week at work, Mike at work. If you're watching, Mike, hey, how you doing?
Hey, you doing?
Wait, hey. How you doing, Mike? Hey. If you're watching, Mike played a clip for me this week where brain fart. The Dark Knight. The guy who played Heath Ledger played the Joker, right?
Yeah.
And his performance of the Joker, he plays a clip where there's an old interview with Tom Waits in the '70s, and the way Tom Waits was acting and talking was exactly like the way Heath Ledger played the Joker in the Dark Knight. And Mike played this clip for me, and I was like, "Oh yeah, look at that! This is a definite similarity. That he must have copied his performance from Tom Waits." And I said, "You know who Tom Waits is?" He said, "No." Well, now you do.
There you go.
Tom Waits. Okay, last bit of trivia. This is another one. This is another bit of Mike Vasquez tie-in here.
Nice.
If you look at this album cover right here, this was from like 1974. I think this record came out 74, 75.
Okay.
You see that rather voluptuous lady in the background there?
Yeah, I do.
You see that? Anyone recognize her?
Is that Dorothy Hamill?
No, that's Cassandra Peterson.
Who's that?
Elvira, Mistress of the Dark.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So she she was a go-go dancer at the time. Oh. And when they took this picture, they paid her like $60 to take the picture.
Man.
Back then, and she's immortalized on the cover of Tom Waits' album.
That's freaking cool.
Right there she is, right there, Tom Waits. So there you have it. That's Small Change, Tom Waits. Great album, highly recommend it. Go to Spotify, Apple Music, listen to it from beginning to end. Don't shortchange yourself. Don't go on it and listen to the first track and think, "Oh, this is shit. I'm out of here." No, you got to listen to the whole thing. It's great. All right.
Let's see.
Last album.
So that was the 10 right there, and this right here is the weekly picker.
This is the last album. This is my last one I picked. But before I do, we have to have a little drink to get the juices flowing. Okay. I gotta shave. Anyway, this is David Bowie.
Oh.
Station to Station.
Oh man.
This is David Bowie, Station to Station. I love David Bowie. I'm a big David Bowie fan, but this is my most favorite David Bowie album ever. I love this record.
Oh, that's such a great record.
Station to Station. Yeah, there's a particular song on here called "Wild Is the Wind." I don't know if you're familiar with it.
I am not.
It's just phenomenal. Well, like
Wild is the Wind, right?
Wild is the Wind.
No, I know. What's that? Isn't there a song on there? Something of the Wing. Wing on the. Oh, what is that?
Here. That's the track.
Word on a Wing.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, this is the track listing. You think of it, friend. There's only like 6 tracks on the album.
Yeah, it was in like an EP.
That's it. Just 6 tracks, 3 tracks on each side.
Yeah, but it blows some 12, 13, 14, 15 track albums out of the water.
Totally. And the still here on the front, it's from a movie. Can you guess which movie? Anyone know?
No,
It's
I
from
don't
it's
know.
from The Man Who Fell to Earth, the science fiction movie
Oh,
from
okay.
1976. That was
Yeah.
they took a still from the movie because the album came out about the same time as the film, where David Bowie played an alien from another planet
I've never seen
stranded
that.
on Earth. It's a very bizarre movie, but it's well worth a watch if you have the time and the inclination. So there you
Awesome.
go. That's David Bowie, Station to Station, one of my favorite Bowie albums, right here. And that
David
about that about
Bowie.
that about does it, man.
What a great wrap up, dude. What way to wrap it up with David Bowie.
The
You can't go wrong there.
David Bowie.
Oh,
Can't
did
go
you
wrong.
watch that show Vinyl
Which one?
on HBO?
No.
Vinyl?
Oh no, no. I remember you telling me about it.
Oh
No,
man,
I didn't see it.
that show was cut in its prime, and I get it. It was dragging along in a time that it was released in the time that you were just talking about earlier, where we had that golden era of TV where
Too
everything was just
much.
like it was
There's
awesome, and now
too many good
we're over.
shows. There's way too much. It's
Right.
too much. You can't watch them all.
And I think that
Mm-hmm.
one was kind of swept up in that, but it gets to the part where they want to start signing David Bowie, and they go
Uh,
see him perform, and the
did
actor, it was
they had
great. It
somebody
was,
playing Bowie?
yes,
Oh
they had
wow,
this,
wow.
yeah, man. You need to
Uh-huh.
watch it. I mean, it's
It's
unfortunate 'cause
HBO, right? So
HBO Vinyl,
it's on
yeah.
HBO Max probably then, so you could
Oh
probably
yeah,
catch
oh
up.
for sure,
And
for sure.
it's only one season. But the thing is, with
Was it one season? Yeah, I think it was. It was
thing
only
is
one
with
season.
one
You're right.
season shows though,
Yeah,
you're like, oh, it's one season. I can get through that in no time. But if it's a good show, you're gonna be pissed
you are.
because
And with this one,
you don't want it to end. You're like, what is that? That's it? Where's the rest?
yeah,
You
that's the
know?
one thing with this. But it's worth a watch for anybody who is a lover of vinyl,
Mm-hmm.
a
Of
lover of
music.
music, just all around. To see how record labels were
Uh huh.
basically, living not even paycheck to paycheck. These guys were, just trying to
Right.
hustle everybody, basically hustling the artists
Mm-hmm.
and trying to cover
Trying to make
their
a
next
buck.
deal, trying to make a yeah, ultimately trying to make a buck. And man, they
Put
ended up
food on the
being,
table.
tycoons,
Uh huh.
multi-million dollar record tycoons, and
So
it's awesome, man. It was a great one.
as we wrap it up here, then Percy, does we have a couple of people in the chat room, not too many, but anyone have any questions, any comments, anything you'd like to ask myself and Block City over there? What hat is that? What hat do you have on? What is that?
This is a
Oh, is that Pops?
Cincinnati Reds hat. That's exactly why I bought it,
I thought it was
because it looks
Pops.
like, yes, and that's who I thought it was too. I was like, oh man, that Reds, that little it's
Yes, dear boy. It does. It looks like Pops.
oh man. For
Yeah.
those who don't know who Pops is, watch the regular show.
Oh, dude, genius,
Classic,
genius. So
classic.
I discovered the regular show through my kids. My kids used to watch it. They'd be like, Dad, come watch. Oh, because 9 times out of 10, when you sit down to watch some cartoon with your kids, 9 times out of 10, it's nonsense, and you want to kill yourself. It's so stupid. But the regular show, they say, come watch it. I sit down, like, oh, okay. Next thing you know, it reversed. I was watching it and saying, hey, come watch this for me, because it was so great.
They didn't
It
want
was
to.
so
They
great.
didn't want to. I don't want to watch regular show
Yeah,
now.
regular show was awesome. It was
Hilarious.
so great.
Hilarious.
Mordecai and Rigby. Oh man. Let's see. We got a message here from KLA31 which is I think it's Byron's. Hey Byron's, how you doing over there? Hey
Oh,
Byron's says really good show. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Thanks. I'm
appreciate you.
glad you enjoyed it. Spread the word. Let people know. So next time we do it, there's gonna be some people to watch it.
Yeah.
And also, please subscribe. If you notice, this is a new channel. There's only a handful of subscribers. Please subscribe and hit that bell, so you'll be aware when the next video comes up. And that's that. Yeah, subscribe and hit the bell and all that other bullshit that they ask you to do on these dopey YouTube channels.
The like, the thumbs up,
Thumbs up,
whatever,
like them, thumbs up, write a
whatever
comment.
you gotta do.
You know,
And no,
all that stupid shit. Do all
it's
that.
always a blast. It's always a blast coming with these tunes. If you guys have any recommendations of your own for the listeners. We're kind
Yeah.
of giving our
You know
review.
what I would like to do, Percy, as we
Yeah.
move on to this and we do it every week and we get into,
Mhm.
like, show 10, 20, 30, whatever, is to invite people on the show with us who have a passion for music and vinyl, where we can talk to them about what albums they have, and they can show us their albums. So
They
that,
can bring we can have them bring on one record that they love, that they want to showcase, that they feel
yeah,
it would be
I
would be a
think that would
great
be cool
opportunity. Yeah,
to
great opportunity to
have you and I there, and we'll bring someone on,
yeah,
and they'll tell us all about, which vinyl records they love, which albums changed their lives,
right.
made a difference to them. Because when you're talking about records, you're talking about not only moments of your life, but moments of pure emotion, right? Because when
Yeah,
I don't know about you, well, you too. You mentioned it last week. When you listen to an album, you put those headphones on and you just listen, and you're forced to listen. That's
yeah,
the beauty of vinyl, is that you're actually forced to listen to the music and to experience the music. It's not something you got in the background, or you're playing in the
right,
car, or it's on your phone and you're doing 50 other things. You do nothing except listen to the music, right?
right, right.
You're not doing other things. You're just sitting there, absorbed in the album, and it truly is a wonderful, wonderful experience.
I did that today on probably end will end with this on this note with the Mars Volta, his last album. I listened to it today, and I hadn't listened to it in that fashion, the way you're describing it, in a long time. And I remember hearing it a lot on CD because I was a huge fan of the band. I was a big fan of At the Drive-In, hearing this and the collaborations that were on it. I loved it when it was released. Today, when I listened to it, I was reintroduced to sounds and some
Yeah.
of these some of these
Oh,
devices that
totally.
they used, right? May it be a synthesizer of
Mm-hmm.
some sort, or a specific type of keyboard like a Rhodes, that specific sound that it gives you, or the guitar, just the guitar of how it's
Right, right,
engineered,
right.
how it's tracked, how it
Absolutely.
pans from left to right, and you lose some of that, I feel,
You
from
do.
the
You
digital
do.
side of it. And listening to it on vinyl, man,
Mm-hmm.
it's almost like re-listening to a whole new song, so
It's not just when you're listening to it on vinyl. When you listen to a record, you're not just listening. It's an experience.
yeah,
You're not just listening to the music. It
yep,
truly is, from beginning to end. It's an experience. And I was just thinking right now. Last week you mentioned Pink Floyd, "Wish You Were Here,"
yeah,
and it made an emotional connection to you.
hmm,
And I think that that there might be people out there who are fans of Pink Floyd, right? Who enjoy their
hmm,
music,
hmm,
but they've only ever listened to them on CD or
yeah,
download or streaming, and they like what they hear. They're into the band. They enjoy the music, but they're only listening to it that way. When you listen to a Pink Floyd album like Dark Side of the Moon or Wish You Were Here on record
hmm,
with headphones, and
hmm,
you're sitting there, and you're not doing other things. You're not checking your Twitter. You're not on your phone. All you're doing is one thing, and that's listening to the album.
yeah,
It will change your life. It will literally change your life. The experience of being immersed in music.
yeah,
You
definitely.
know?
Immerse yourself this week in music, our
Yeah.
fellow listeners.
Do it.
Immerse yourself in music. Don't stop.
Do it
Let
now.
the needle drop.
Get to the chopper. Do it
Get to the
now.
chopper.
What's the matter with you? With this and the that and the things of this nature. Do the chopper now. I'm a cop, you idiot. Okay.
Oh,
All
Arnold,
right.
thanks for joining us tonight.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Consider this a divorce. Okay. I think we should call it quits, and we'll end it here. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, thumbs up, like, all that nonsense. And we'll be back next Friday with some more albums, some more to discuss, some more banter to go back and forth. And hopefully we'll see you all then. All right, guys, have a great weekend, and we'll see you next Friday. Have a good one. Later. Bye.